Welcome back, everybody, to the Famous Monsters Podcast. We're here to assemble and disassemble horror, sci-fi, and fantasy genre movies. With me today, we got Philip Kim, our fearless leader. Don't afraid to say hi to the people.
Hey,
They
I'm
like
your
you.
fearless leader.
We got Chris Bollini from Coffee TV,
Hello, hello.
and Chase Hensley, our media coordinator.
I'm here.
And of course, me, George Romero, your jack of all trades. Recently, we lost a very important bat in the cave, Adam West. And here at the FM, we don't mourn deaths; we celebrate their lives. So we want to talk about our memories and the things we grew up watching of Adam West. I personally, like I think most of us here, had Batman. He is the Batman, right? Is there any other, really?
He started
think,
all.
I think not. You know, he's been Batman possibly the longest next to Kevin Conroy, who did the voice for the animated series in the 90s. But he's been the face, he's been the voice, he's been everything. You know, even just recently when he was in Family Guy, you still saw Batman, I think. Even though he was calling himself Mayor Adam West, in my mind, I always saw Batman as the mayor of Quahog. You know, and it was a wonderful thing. Like he was everything.
Well, you know, obviously, same thing. I remember when I was watched back-to-back episodes. I'm glad I could see the beginning and the end of the episode. I didn't have to wait a week or whenever one originally aired. And of course, it's just like how he just delivered that deadpan delivery of some of those lines. The Batusi, we can't forget that dance. When they, of course, with the whole Catwoman romance that he had going there, when she told him we could always kill Robin. And he's like, we can't do that. So obviously, a lot of memories there that I have. That, you know, and the brilliance of them is the Blu-ray disc just came out a couple of years ago. I had to buy it right away. And for me, I know it's nostalgia. They stand up for me. I mean, sure, you know, they're campy, and some, you know, the younger generation may look away at them, but he really kind of created something that people have tried to mimic over the years. And that's my memory, watching them growing up on Coffee TV, actually, back-to-back episodes coming home from school.
I think Adam West and William Shatner went to the same acting school because
Their cadence is very similar.
Exactly. Like Robin. You know, it's of course Shatner has a little more passion to it, and he's not behind the mask. But the other thing was, what I thought was the most brave of all was, you know, Adam West back in those days, you know, the big muscle men, they didn't exist, and he still put on something very slinky and tight. And I thought to myself, if he could wear that, I could wear that.
Chase disagrees.
Or Chase can wear that.
No.
No? No Batman unitard for this table?
I'd wear it.
I'll rock the Robin
Right?
outfit.
Oh, okay.
He kind of has that
makes
Robin
sense.
look. He does
Yeah.
have that Robin look.
I can see that.
And the
There's
feel.
hair.
Yeah.
And the feel, yeah.
Chase, how was your memories of the West?
I mostly just got Adam West from my face is turning really red. From
It's okay. We all love Adam West too.
Don't cry.
Don't have to blush.
I'm gonna cry.
Don't cry.
I'm crying for him. It's not the allergies, it's real. Mostly from what I've seen from was on Family Guy, because by the time I was really watching any Batman kind of stuff, it was the what year was that with Tim Burton's?
So 1980s.
Yeah. It was a little bit later than that, and you know I was younger, so I watched that, and then I was all about, you know, watching the cartoons and stuff, and I didn't watch a whole lot of the older stuff when I was a kid, so I got really introduced to him. Aside from just seeing like random pictures of it and like little clips on shows and stuff, I would see just hearing him on Family Guy, and then I found out, oh, he was the Batman, so I was like, okay, cool. So I want to get involved with that. So I'm actually it's in my Amazon basket. I'm getting ready to order some of that so I can watch it.
The
It's a good
entire
choice.
3 seasons, or just what were you talking
First
about? The full
season.
commitment?
First season.
Okay, all
I
right.
have to-
I
have to
think
check it
Everything and the movie.
I think
You gotta
if
watch
you
the
go
movie.
to Walmart, you can get it all for $5.
It's in a bin.
I don't know,
It's
man. That was an expensive Blu-ray collection.
No, it's true, but it's just everything ends up in a Walmart bin for $5. Like I'm just
I've
afraid-
checked that bin, and
I'm
it's
just afraid
$7.99.
that I may end up in
With
that
tax.
bin for $7.99. Tax exempt. It's
Well, I'll pick you out there.
it's a fear.
I will pick you out of that bin. Well, you know, like one last thing I wanted to add is obviously, you know, the beauty of it is, sure, I knew him as the Batman, but, you know, of course, that deadpan delivery again comes back in as the mayor of Quahog. And I mean, obviously, he's one of the characters that stands out. And Seth MacFarlane, of course, you know, a great kind of tribute to him. saying that he was, a great person to work with, and that he was passionate, and that his presence in those recording sessions elevated the whole room. So that's definitely something you want to hear, because you see somebody, you like the performance, they have a good energy, but to hear that behind the scenes they're that sweet, really hardworking person is just kind of the icing on the cake for me. So definitely nice here, and of course the bat signal, right?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
gonna the bat signal will be in L.A. as a tribute to him.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep, they're gonna shine the bat signal tonight. Yeah, it's I would wish I'd be there to see that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, so it's a one-time thing, not like
One-time thing. I'm
permanent.
pretty sure they're just gonna shine it to honor Adam West, and that's a big deal
That's
when
nice.
Hollywood says, "Hey, we're turning a light on
It's
for you."
absolutely
Yeah.
true. They haven't done that for me yet. So
Well, it's
We'll
time.
We'll
I
have to
hope.
create the Philip Kim symbol.
demonstrate.
That's what we need.
You've
PK.
seen it, right? No, I'm kidding. You haven't seen it, I'm sure.
The preview?
I'm pretty sure.
I saw the preview.
Did you?
Yeah,
Chris watches everything.
I try
Nothing
to,
gets by him.
and I like
Yeah.
a lot of stuff too. So yeah, I'm sure I'm going to be faulted as these conversations continue for my preference for movies that you will probably all have contempt for or scorn, but we'll cross those bridges when it
We
happens.
don't talk about it. This is a family show.
Okay.
We have love for everybody.
Okay, good.
There's no
we're going to
bad.
put that through the test.
Everyone
This
gets
is,
a trophy.
this is summer season, so there are going to be a lot of movies we're going to be scrapping about.
Oh, it's true. It's absolutely true.
It is true, and with the passing of Adam West, there was also another passing, and that was possibly of the horror genre.
These are
And
big words.
it-
Make sure you tread water
it
lightly
is.
here.
But here's why I say it. Obviously, we're talking about the Mummy and the remake of that, and I say it in a way that possibly the Universal movie monsters aren't horror films anymore. Maybe now, which we've talked about a lot in the office, like now they're more of in a fantasy world where we're not really afraid of them, but they're just this mythical thing that we're in maybe more of wonderment of what it is, as opposed to like, oh my God, I should run. And so with that,
Unless
we
you're Tom
talk about,
Cruise.
unless you're Tom
That
Cruise,
doesn't matter. You're running.
you're born running. That's
But
what
he
you
looks
do.
good running. Come
Yeah.
on, guys.
I wish I was 60 years old and looked like that. Like honestly,
He's 60? I thought he was like 58.
50, 60.
Yeah, two
The
different.
guy when
2
he's
years is a big
when
difference.
he's 80, he's gonna look like that still. I bet.
Hey, buddy, when you're my age, that's a big difference. That's the difference between life.
How old are
and
you?
death.
What? You're in your 30s, 40s.
But I'm not going to tell you.
Well, you're not a lady. It's okay.
I'm not.
That's only for women. That
This
we
is
have that
sensitive.
rule,
We're
right?
talking sensitive area here.
It's okay. You're in the same
You don't
place.
even know.
A little pat on the shoulder for Phil Kim there. He's definitely trying to.
No, I mean, for me, I'll get Dr. Phil on the whole thing. We were talking about it after we saw it, and there's no terror or the fear that must have ensued back in the 30s when the Mummy was first shown. Right, 30. What
Yeah,
was,
it
what
was
it?
like 32.
Yeah,
35.
it was like right after
Yeah.
the release of Dracula. The success of that followed. But back then, for lack of a better word, society was ignorant of a lot of things. We had
There's
not.
an innocence.
Yeah,
back
well,
then.
we hadn't discovered all the corners of the world. We didn't have the kind of computer sonar technology that we have now. We hadn't discovered so many things. So anything that you don't know is terrifying. So I think that you can scare somebody by giving like bad science and or no science. But nowadays these kids are so smart. I listen to them all the time, and they like break down the science of even mythology, and you're sitting there going, so I think that's why they're, for this generation, a guy who kidnaps them and tortures them for 24 hours or 48 hours, it's a real thing. I mean, that's literally the edge of terror for today's children, because that could actually happen.
Yeah.
So like Saw, or even though there's like mysticism behind Saw or
Hostile. or something.
Hostile and Insidious and so
Or
on.
Strangers. Got to throw that one in there.
Oh yeah.
That's
yeah.
a movie that holds up for I won't say redefines, but definitely for the people that think they've seen it all.
Yeah.
That has some great scares, some great suspense.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Or
it's
what
true.
about Dumb and Dumber 2 and 3? I mean, that was
I haven't seen 3. I did see 2, which I was looking
terrifying.
forward to.
Yeah, no,
It was
it's
scary.
And it was disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the one way to put it, but I was correct. So I would say that this generation of kids, the millennials, they're smart. I mean, I don't know if they were smarter than the last generation or the generation before. They're certainly well informed.
But I also think it's the speed. We got to talk about speed here. I mean, if you
Yes.
look at a trailer from a movie back in the 30s, or even a movie back in the 80s, the way it's cut, how long a shot's on, it's forever. Now you
Yeah.
got maybe what, 100 shots in a 2-minute trailer. Everything goes
Yeah.
quick. It's faster.
Yeah.
They absorb it quicker.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
maybe it's not a matter of intelligence, just about be able to process it because they've been trained with the technology and
Well,
such.
when you have Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez running over a car that's flipping over out of a plane onto a running train.
That's good timing.
And
That
you-
is just crappy
Yeah,
timing. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Don't
And you're like,
don't
what?
spoil it for
No,
me.
no, no. I'm just saying, like you see that, and you're like, this dude's in like toilet paper wrapped around his body, is walking at me very slow. I can outrun that guy. Like it's
Yeah.
not.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the brilliance of what they tried to do with the Mummy. Obviously, they did it with Brendan Fraser. They did it back there. I think they did a good
Yeah.
job. They kind of got on the Indiana Jones feel with a little more light humor, and it
Yeah,
worked.
yeah.
It
It
was
worked.
wonderful.
The third one was
Yeah.
a little disappointing for me, but the first two
we
held
forget
up,
that happened.
and we were on top of it. And I mean,
was Brendan Fraser still in the thing?
He was in all
yes,
three?
no Rachel Weisz though.
Yeah.
That was
Oh.
Maria Bello. I think stepped in for. I was hoping she was going to show up at the end. She did not show up at the end,
Yeah.
but
No,
hey,
she did. She was a mummy.
no, come on.
Oh,
I have to
come
rewatch. I didn't stay to the end of the credits, okay,
Yeah.
Phil? They weren't doing that back then. But I'll try it next time. But I mean, the important thing is I got to take my hat off to Universal. It's a money business. Let's not turn it back on it.
Yeah.
They want to make money. Avengers is making a lot of money, and you can tell the way this new Mummy movie came out was they want to do an Avengers series with their Universal monsters. I mean, that was my interpretation. You
Oh,
got
for sure,
Dr. Jekyll.
100%.
You're talking about one day we will need the monsters to save us, whatever that last line is. I'm like, they're going to try to build a franchise on it. Now, did they do a good job of starting it off? Well, that's the conversation we can have.
The Pope is not happy with us turning monsters into heroes. I just want to let you know.
I didn't read that article. Did that
didn't
they
read
get
it?
published?
There was a smoke signal.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I was just saying, I would look
Yeah.
that stuff up.
But no, yeah, this Mummy definitely felt like a Batman versus Superman like movie where it focused more on setting up this world that we're preparing for, this dark universe, as opposed to focusing on the mummy. Which
Well, let's say this, 'cause I got a feeling we're going to go down a dark path here, no pun intended. I think you said we're going to assemble and disassemble. I think we're going to get into the disassemble part. Let's at least praise the movie for its good qualities, great special effects, right?
oh yeah, action
turn it
and
back on that.
visuals that
And
there's no denying.
If you're looking for, not to just universe, if you're looking for a summer blockbuster, you want to get out of 100-degree heat and you want to kill 2 hours, not worrying about what you need to do at work
And you're
on Monday.
homeless, and you need a place to
Wow,
sleep.
I'd say that you may get your price for the thing. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you were.
No, I'm just saying. I think that and why they let those guys in, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
The movie's that bad, huh? Where they're like, we got to fill
yeah,
the
they use
seats.
the bathroom and they sneak
1175 is
in.
1175. These theater owners, they don't care.
So having said that, and of course Tom Cruise, I am a fan of Tom Cruise.
Big
I had a chance
Yeah,
to meet him
likewise.
once.
Yeah.
Only guy that I've ever met that, I was doing one of these junkets that he got up when I walked in the room, and I'm sure he did this for everyone, walked across the room, said, how you doing? My name's Tom Cruise, shook my hand, then went and sat down. Usually when you do these things, you're lucky if the people are even looking at you. When
Yeah.
you walk in there, they're looking at their head,
Oh,
they're
no,
rubbing their eyes.
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
And just the fact that he has so much humility that he had to tell you who he was. It's great.
Yeah, like I did. So having said that, now please take the reins. Let's get the scalpels out and see what we're going to do to the mummy.
I don't know if we say scalpels. Like I feel like every time you watch a movie, you become a super critic and you become a filmmaker. Whether you've made a film or not, immediately like, well, I know what I would have done, and here's what I would have made it better. And we always talk about films here in this office, and some of the things that we talked about is like we miss horror films, we miss the Universal monsters. It's like, why couldn't we have done something where we were in the pyramids? Where
Down in the
like,
tombs.
yeah, like Chase had this wonderful idea. Tell us
Basically,
your plans for the
it was-
mummy.
It reminded me because you were talking about like how the older movies would play off like shadow and darkness and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's called
because
noir.
They were
Yeah.
black and
Yeah.
white, and so I was like, well, you could do all this like in a dark setting, which in one part they went back to that abbey, and it was like kind of like that older, kind of like
Van
old
Helsing
Universal.
feel like,
Yeah,
it's
it
like
had
a
that-
castle kind of
Yeah.
fortress.
But like what I was thinking would have been cool is if they just had the whole like not the whole movie but a lot of the movie like down in the tombs and it's like you just have a torch or something or a flashlight and it's really dark and then you have whatever's going on like some raised mummies that the main mummy brings back like it always does just creeping around and it's like you can't see too far in front of you so you have that anticipation the whole time you're wondering what's going on you have all that suspense so that could have been one way they could have went at it instead of having
Well, here's the thought about that. I like that. And I think, I don't know, you guys chime in. I think one of the biggest problems there's two things that I think had a big problem, but one being, I don't think it knew what it wanted to be. It could have been that. There were elements of that, but at the same time, there were little elements of the Brendan Fraser because Tom Cruise is kind of a wise guy. They had the big budget action of a Transformers movie. and then you kind of threw some other things in there. So what was it? It's like I think they tried to take all these pieces of blockbusters and said, if we throw it in the pot, it'll work.
True.
And look, and I'll tell you I love Tom Cruise movies. I mean, I'll watch anything he does. Like he is just
The dude's entertainer. Like he knows what he's doing.
It's not just that. Like he believes he's that superhero, and I believe he believes he's that. I believe he is a secret agent who survives explosions in real life. I mean, the guy does his own stunts. He scales the tallest building in the world.
Don't forget, hung off the 747 or 757. Mission Impossible. He literally mounted himself on the door and let the plane take off.
So I mean, I just kind of knowing that he's kind of a like when he retires or when he passes on, there isn't anybody to replace that guy. I mean, he's fantastic. So the problem with when you have somebody who is so strong is not because Tom Cruise isn't a team player. His signature is so strong that you can't really have him in an ensemble movie to have it really work where he's an even equal. That's
non-action movie.
Yeah, non-action.
Yeah. Magnolia, I think he was great at.
No, of course, yeah, for sure. But I'm talking about I mean, this was MI2, like car flipped over, he helicopter blades, and then the train comes by, like it's all happening at once, and he's doing what he's doing. I would have liked to have seen, when I wrote Monster World, the comic book that we have, I literally thought of this, and what I think they should have done was just literally stayed, like what Wonder Woman did. They should have had him just stay in the 30s. And I think it would have worked. I think the period piece would have been phenomenal. I think all the monsters should have seen some end or some lack of conclusion, as they did in all of those movies because of the sequel aspect of it. And then in the end, they should have brought him back now, because then at least there is this long historical reference. Yeah. When they jumped right into look, personally, there's so much political and war stuff going on. Like I don't need to be put into that space. We're in Iraq, we're in whatever. It's like I'm here to escape all that. Yeah. So I think the mistake was the romance happened too quickly.
Did it happen though? Yeah. I mean, basically she shows up and we find out they slept together.
Well, we were told.
Yeah, well, you mentioned earlier it does a better job of telling and showing, but
yeah.
But and what's funny is he's like, well, I thought there was a second shoot. That's funny, but it killed his heroism. Like
you didn't like him. You didn't like him. Yeah, and he was a thief by nature. Yeah. He was stealing antiquities. He wasn't even doing his job for the U.S. military by doing long range reconnaissance.
But like in comparison to George Miller's movies, except Babe, the Road Warrior series, like the last one, the reason that's like a perfect movie is because the whole sequence took place in a day. They were going across this desert, and every second was a decision, A or B, A or B, A or B. And initially all the choices were A, which is me, 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 me. And then there was a point where he said, me, you, and then it was you, all you. So at the end, even though it was such a short, fast-paced movie, it's like, we don't even know if they loved each other, because I don't think there was enough time, but they were committed to each other. The romance was there. I felt it.
See, I disagree with you. I agree that they're going that way, but you hit I said two things. Yeah. The other thing is, and I won't use negative, bad words, but the problem is, you got to emotionally connect me to characters. I got to like them, and even if I don't like them, because I like bad guys, you got to make me sympathize with them, or as in that case, I want to believe the romance. That moment, and I won't spoil it for people in case they haven't seen it, the sacrifice at the end would have been so much more poignant if I cared, or if I bought that romance.
You're saying I'm saying like, I think George Miller's Road Warrior did that. Do you agree?
No, I thought you were talking about Cruise.
But the Mummy, it's like every chance he got to be the good guy, because there isn't a lot of time. It's a 2-hour movie or a little over. It became a joke. Or
he didn't make good decisions.
Well,
or based on which is okay.
Or they dwelled on how long he lasted. It's like I don't even know where that fits into it.
We have to how long he lasted in bed.
In
Yeah.
bed, yeah.
We can't leave that
Sexually.
out. It's
Yeah,
very
in
important.
bed,
It was
yeah.
15 seconds
Yeah.
was the record.
Right.
I don't buy it. It's
Yeah.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm
The dude
I'm
survived
saying,
the plane crash. Come on.
you know,
Yes.
I'm saying exactly.
He's got endurance, people. That lady was a liar. I didn't like her
Yeah.
either. Actually.
Yeah.
So he's a thief, she's a liar. No, but the point is that what George Miller, because it was a similar movie. Like they're being chased. He had an opportunity to make that B choice, but every time you referred to his B choices, and yeah, that's a directorial flaw. It's not Tom Cruise. It's not the actors. It's a directorial flaw. I like the director a lot, so I even hate saying that. But the point is that there were some odd choices made that it could have been better.
Well, they didn't obviously err on the side of character. I don't
Yeah.
think they could have spent more time. And I don't know if you guys saw that King Arthur movie. Same thing.
No.
They wasted so much time in that movie on the special effects and the action. Take 20 minutes of that out. Give me a few moments where I see a connection between these people. I see him torn with what he's doing, or
Yeah.
show me where I can say, "Oh, okay, I understand this guy. I care about this guy." And then the rest of the movie, whether it's all action or it sucks, I'm going to be much more forgiving because at least I'm like, I can't wait to see the end. I can't wait to see what happens to these people.
Yeah.
It's true.
I anticipate a sequel to this kind of situation.
But is it going to be a sequel to The Mummy, or are we going to see Russell Crowe, of course, plays Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde? Is it going to be his spinoff? Are we going to see Dracula? Is Cruise going to wait until part 3 to come back?
What
Yeah.
the hell happened to Russell Crowe?
In life or in the movie? Or both?
Both. It's like, are you entertained to? I'm kind of growing here. I mean, I love that guy. I mean, I still do, but it's like, you know, you were a hero. You were a leading.
It was the
man.
Gladiator.
Yeah, exactly. And now you're like Dr. Jekyll,
Now
Mr.
he's
Hyde.
this guy.
So, yeah. Anyway.
And that goes back to a lot of the character building. Like it's no one had enough time to give you or show you enough of what they were made of for you to care. You know, and I feel like a big thing with the Mummy movies is that the Mummy specifically, you care for the Mummy at certain points. You feel for him because the traditional ones have Hemotep or Kairos from the Hammer films, and there's usually this love that they lost and they sacrificed themselves for, and now they're back to get that love back, and you feel for that. You feel like maybe he's not that bad of a guy. I would do anything for the person I love too, and you didn't get that with this one. And not that you didn't want to feel for a character, but we weren't told, we weren't shown enough.
Well,
to-
all I
to
got of
feel
it, she
for her.
wanted to sacrifice some guy to bring back.
Well, and
She was going to sleep with him first, so I guess
Yeah.
that worked out for him.
Well. Besides the fact that she was completely hot, you know, outside of that, it was the same thing that, and these guys are gonna kill me, but it was the same flaw that Force Awakens had. The minute you kill your dad, no one's like you're redeemable. You get what
Well,
I'm saying?
but they're
Yeah.
not going to redeem Kylo Ren.
No,
they
no, no.
can't.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is like the reason you felt for these bad guys in the past, or even Darth
No,
Vader.
no,
like-
sure. Well, she
like,
killed a
look,
baby. Come on.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
kills a baby. Kylo Ren kills his dad. I mean, it's like it's kind of a pointless thing. It's like if the minute you kill a kin, no one's gonna be like, "Oh shucks, that was a mistake. We're gonna forgive you." Like the audience will remember that, and like you're just
Especially when it's
Yeah.
Han Solo.
yeah, absolutely.
The
yeah.
dad, yes, but Han Solo, I mean, there are people still upset about that.
You know, but I still feel they could have redeemed her. If we
Not
had,
after the baby.
Let's-
Yeah.
I'm a father,
okay,
so that's
I will
maybe
say,
why.
I will
Exactly.
admit, the baby thing is hard. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. But like, if we had, let's say, 20 minutes of seeing her, the dad and her relationship develop, because they kind of tell us that he was grooming her to be the ruler of Egypt. So she's set in her mind. It's like, all right, my dad loves me. He's gonna give me all this kingdom. And if we got to see that relationship build,
But
and then the baby comes in, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't need you anymore. You go to your room. I got this now." Your family just turned on you. To have that scorn, then there might be more of a connection.
But you were just saying, like in the past, all the best movies that become legacy films, there are no bad guys. I'll just go back to Darth Vader. You'll love the guy because you could see the world from his point of view. We are going to bring order out of chaos. He believed religiously in what they were doing. You can step behind.
Okay, here's
that
the thing,
guy.
though. Maybe
feel like I
he
can rebuttal
freaking
that
killed
because-
Obi-Wan
I was
Kenobi.
gonna say, like, and essentially, if you're gonna use that as the example, he was corrupted into where he was. She easily could have been corrupted by Set. who was telling her to do these
Well,
things.
they would have
too.
needed to do that. They would
Yeah.
need to really built it
Yeah,
up, and then maybe she would have got
and
some
that could have been
points.
she
Not
was
many
being
though.
used, you know, because you got that kind of sense to it. She was being used, but again, they didn't give you enough time or give themselves enough time to develop that story.
And the reason
You
is
know.
because again it goes back to I think improper casting. When you have a powerhouse like it's like World War Z. What a great book and what a marginal movie because it became a Brad Pitt vehicle. I mean, I can't tell you how, I can probably count like in large volumes Brad Pitt walking out of a ship, walking out of a helicopter, walking out of a like in the midst. It was the same thing. They just
Well, there's about 12 guys in Hollywood you can say that
yeah,
about.
yeah, right. But my point is like it was a vehicle for it was a commercial in essence. And I think I think when you put somebody as strong, as incredible, and as memorable as Tom Cruise, and that's why if you look at the Marvel universe, not until it became so much bigger than any possible actor could be, earlier on, like Iron Man, what was he doing before that? It wasn't. Robert Downey Jr.'s career was made on Iron Man. Agreed?
Let's say it came back.
It came back.
No,
But
no,
Iron
I'm
Man.
just saying, like it was.
the combo of that and Tropic Thunder in the same year,
Yeah,
it
but
When did he
Skyrocket.
do the Sherlock Holmes movies?
that was
Probably after
That
Iron
was
Man, right?
afterwards, yeah, that was afterwards. But my point is that, like he was a forgotten about actor, great actor, always
Still
great
acting actually. He never stopped acting.
Yeah,
Look at
right. I mean, I get you're trying to say that Cruise had too much power, and that's what took away from the movie. I just think, yeah, sure, there's going to be a bigger expectation for Cruise in there, but I think it was just that he wasn't given the material that would make him shine or make the movie shine. I noticed that Chris McQuarrie was on the screenwriting list, so I wonder if he was brought in because he's of course wrote and directed the last Mission Impossible, and I think the next one to try to make it more like Tom Cruise. But I think that's where they failed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they tried to make it more like Tom Cruise. I mean, he just played somebody that's like we've seen him play before, but without the emotional heart, or we weren't rooting for him. At least I wasn't.
Like an Edge of Thunder or not Edge of, I'm sorry, Edge of Tomorrow.
Okay, so
Edge of-
Days
Loved
of Thunder,
it.
Edge of Tomorrow.
like Edge of Tomorrow, Tom Cruise played a kind of a unlikable weenie, and you loved him. Like that was.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the guy was killed in this war, and he had to be forced to come
1,000
back,
times.
and he was committed to going over it over and over again to try to find the answer. So,
But I'm saying like science fiction movies are great because you can replace them with any capable actor because it's the story that you're going to.
that is a film where somebody else could have played the
Right,
part.
right. But Cruise did. Cruise was directed to not overwhelm the movie because you had Emily Blunt. I mean,
You had an ensemble cast.
it
in
was
there.
a perfect film. I mean, it's one of my favorite films. And so what I'm saying is like with The Mummy again, yeah, I'm just telling you, I think that's where the flaw was. But yeah.
There were a lot of flaws, unfortunately. They really tried hard. They spent a lot of money, but it's almost like some of the other Star Wars films, the first three, Episode 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of money, but no connection. He shot too far, and people didn't connect with it. Although I heard overseas it's doing okay, so that may be enough promise for Universal to go back to the drawing board and say we'll try,
Yeah.
because they were saying the Dark Universe is dead. You actually just said it when we started this. So I mean,
Well, I said that horror.
horror. Oh man, wow.
Horror is possibly dead for the Universal monsters, but not necessarily gone. I think what we have to accept is that maybe it's just not horror anymore, and now it's a fantasy world, and just accept that. Just like how
Isn't
Marvel and
Karloff,
DC
who played
films.
a lot of those characters, isn't his daughter Sarah always say that he always liked to refer to those films as terror films,
Yeah.
not horror films, because horror is more gore and such, and terror is
Yeah.
more suspense.
Yeah, it gets you more cerebral as opposed to your feelings.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the next one will be more cerebral, because we can buy cerebral. I like slow. If there's a slow burn with the pace, as long as I can hook into these people, I'm not going to complain.
Well, what I'll tell you is like knowing what I know, I'd still pay to watch it again. I mean, it was a fun movie. If we're deconstructing it,
Yeah.
I'm telling you where the flaws were. It was not a perfect movie, not by any means. And I think that it isn't because they couldn't have done it. I think they just didn't for whatever reason. And again, I think, and then they've already kind of started this, but you even saw like when you saw Russell Crowe and you went into the laboratorium where all the monsters are kept.
Prodigium.
Yeah, you looked at it and you were almost like, wait, is this now? I mean, so they tried very much with the steampunk feel, the sepia tone, colors. It isn't like they didn't. It's almost like subconsciously they knew that that's where they needed to go anyway. So I think they just should have stayed there. It should have been a period piece. It should have been, the language should have been there. The colloquialism should have been there, and I think people would have had a great time. So.
Yep, like I said, they missed the boat on it, and I know Sarah Karloff. I think she also said that they shouldn't mess with perfection, or said something like that. I heard in an interview, so she's probably sitting there laughing, going, "I knew it, I knew it." But hey, they got what, 4 or 5 more classic monsters that they can dig into, and depending on who they bring on, maybe they'll nail it.
Yeah, well, I hope the creature from the Black Lagoon doesn't come out like the Predator. It's like there should be. I mean, it's a little weird and bestiality-esque, but they should have a beautiful one that should be. Again, I think they should set it back in the day when it meant
No
something.
humanoids from the deep. Then
Yeah.
Well, maybe they
don't
will,
go that
'cause
route.
They had the arm in there, and they had like a vampire or a Dracula skull in there. So maybe the other ones would be borderline prequels to this one. That could be good.
Yeah. Hey, Universal, if you're listening, bring me back on. No.
Oh, I see what this is about.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
So.
But let's let the dead live and die and do what they will.
And I will say again, don't give up on it, people. If you're looking for a little fun entertainment, it's there. We're just being hypercritical because we expected something else.
And you know what? Honestly, it's like I compared it to like Batman versus Superman,
which I liked.
And
I'll
it's
just
like it's one of those things. It got some flack, and even at first I tore it apart as a big comic book fan. But it's one of those things you go back and watch because you know it's world building.
Every time it's on TV, come on, that's becoming the new Christmas story for comic book people, right? It's on again.
No, I gotta tell you, Wonder Woman is
fantastic.
Yeah, well, just the music alone. I mean, it's like it's a battle cry. What did they say? It was inspired by Robert Plant's.
You mean her main thing?
Yeah, the Robert Plant.
Yeah.
I forgot what the song is called. It's super famous.
Well, actually, they're talking about relationships and connections. Wonder Woman's a great example where she took her time to give you a few extra scenes where at least you could see a Chris Pine and Gal Gadot connection, where at least it meant something more than Cruise did with who was the lead again?
Jenny.
Gotcha.
Right? Yeah. I got to read all the names.
Anyway, so so that's good news for there. DC's probably happy there. They're surprised they did not sign on Patty Jenkins in a contract for a sequel, which is interesting.
Wow, the director.
The director.
Oh,
so maybe because some people speculate maybe they underestimated the popularity of the film, but let's hope they bring her back because she
knows what she's doing.
She brought in, she had those hero moments. Without those hero moments, they fall apart. And there weren't any hero moments in Mummy because we didn't like them that much.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Oh, wasn't the dead friend a hero?
Well, that's the other thing. We're talking about what is this movie? I was seeing shades of John Landis. You had American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
I'm like, and it was that off too.
No, it was great.
Well, that was one of the shining.
Those are one of the best parts, honestly. We love those parts,
especially when they brought him back at the end. Where he goes, "Thanks for bringing me back." We're like, "Okay, the team's reunited."
Yeah.
Well, and not only, I wish if they were going to do that, they would have literally thrown the bone, like because it isn't that anybody who goes to see the Mummy wouldn't have caught that. So that was another flaw. I think not that they were trying to hide it or whatnot, but it's like they really should have. That's where the joke should have came in, like the references.
That would have definitely added to it when they make comic.
Yeah.
And they make alluding to some of those classic films, but they have kind of a light comic spin on it.
Yeah, like they'd be like,
like wink, wink. There's your wink, wink.
Or he's like, it's not like you got eaten by a werewolf or something.
Yeah.
Like, and then done, and then because then at least
people eat that up.
Yeah, because then at least the audience is like, you're not trying to
rip it
put
off.
one over on me. You're actually, giving it.
It's an homage.
Yeah.
Not a cheap rip off.
Right.
Yeah.
Not saying that they ripped it off. That's just
I mean, I didn't get that sense. I just think that they missed an opportunity to
get a
chuckle.
Yeah. Now, with The Mummy, it was a remake this year, or within this era, I should say. We are definitely in an era of remakes. I think that's not deniable, right? And a lot of just reboots, redos, and adaptations. We're getting drowned in it, and sequels galore. It's like if you're not making a sequel, don't bother.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Well, I am a fan of the sequel, as long as there's something there for me to grab onto.
Hey, a part 2 is always great.
Some part twos actually
Yeah.
exceed part
Exactly.
And a remake.
Part 3 is where it gets a little,
ones, especially if you're talking about like Spider-Man.
or anything. Spider-Man. I'm scared for Avengers 3. I hope it's great.
It's
But,
got to be.
You know,
I-
both X-Men 3s weren't good. They had two shots at it and they still didn't get it right.
I will tell you that, yeah, but I mean, some people, you're right, but some people have great strength. Like, I think Bryan Singer is kind of like Michael Bay. I mean, he's a better storyteller, but I think he's like Michael Bay. Visually, like, he really knows how to use his special effects.
Oh yeah, visual stimulation on point.
I'm sorry, the character's name. I'm sorry, it's been a long day, so I'm tired. The character's name who can open up time portals.
Doctor Strange?
No. In the X-Men, she was like skipping through and then chopping the.
Oh, you mean the last one, Olivia Munn's character?
Yeah.
Cyclone. She can do portals.
no,
No,
not Cyclone.
that's Nightcrawler can go through portals, can he?
Well, Blink was the one who was able to open up
Yeah.
portals. So you're talking about Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah. So with that, it's like you saw that, and that was a great way to use the visual effects, and actually,
Which was also a part 2.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So that was great. Unlike, well, and again, like Wolverine, you look at that and you're like,
Part 3.
part 3.
Now,
There you go. The best one ever.
That one broke the mold. Because usually it's part 1's, all right, I'm on board, this is good. Part 2 is like, well, this is amazing.
Part
Give me
1
whatever
stunk.
you want.
Part 2
And
is better.
Part
Part
3
was
is
the best.
usually like, okay, this sucks. I don't know why I bothered. But yeah, they went the opposite route. I call it the fine wine approach.
I like that.
Because it starts off a little sour, but by the end, you have this wonderful taste in your mouth of like fruit and nuts and everything. And it's just weird.
Yeah, but I felt
Nuts
like
in your mouth? That is weird.
Yeah,
That's
but what I wanted to say about Wolverine was I felt like I was watching, the sequel to Nurse with the Purple Hair. It's like the dude's dying of cancer through the whole movie, and it's like it's just depressing. Like
It was too real at times. Yeah.
Well, that was why I took a whole new that approach was what really made it stand out. It was fresh.
Yeah.
We hadn't
It
seen that
possibly
before on
grounded
that.
it better than the other ones did.
And again, you see where he's at, and he's not a nice guy, but you're still behind him. You're still rooting for him.
It definitely it totally grasped onto the idea of him being an anti-hero, which he's always been pitched as. But with the past few movies, you actually root for him. You don't feel the anti-hero thing at all. You're like, oh, he's just a good guy. But this one's like, all right, he's done some bad things now. He's doing some questionable things.
And you still like
you
him,
know?
and
Yeah,
that's
and you
why
still
you
want
love
him to
him.
win. Yeah.
And I'm still upset. I mean, I guess we're spoiling it that they killed him off, but hey, maybe some of that serum will regenerate him because I'd like to see him in Avengers.
well,
If Fox lets him
that'd be
go
great.
over.
though, nothing ruins a movie like a kid, an action movie, but that kid was bad.
Oh my god,
yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
I'm down for a sequel with just her.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Her and Hit Girl.
I'd pay for
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
crossovers. What happened to crossovers?
Yeah.
We used to have them back in the day, freaking
Too many
Laurel
rights
Hardy,
and
Lennox
licenses.
Stella.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that nightmare? Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Everyone owns a piece of the pie. But
No, I'm
yes,
curious.
remakes. I mean, I am looking forward to the rest of the remakes that you're talking about. There are a lot out there right now.
What's something that you're looking forward to?
That's a
and
remake?
and maybe not so much looking forward to.
Justice League, which is not really a remake, but it's a sequel. War of the Planet of the Apes. I mean, the first two, let's hope there's a fine wine approach to that, to quote you. Thought the first two were great. I'm looking forward to see that story kind of hit a climax. Spider-Man Homecoming,
Oh my god, I can't wait for that.
and that's because obviously they made that deal. Marvel and Sony made the deal where they let them borrow them for Avengers and for the next one, and they helped them kind of spruce up the scripts. So hopefully the script's going to have that Marvel feel that we're used to, and the fact that Tony Stark shows up, I don't know for how much, is also a nice bonus.
Yeah,
So that
it
gives
seems
me
like a
great
good chunk.
promise. And we're not going to see the origin story again. I didn't
Yeah.
want to see that
Yeah.
for the fourth or fifth time.
Oh, you mean where Spider-Man
Gets bit by a spider.
gets killed by the Joker? Oh, I'm sorry. That's the wrong one.
Well, they did that in the
Dad,
last.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
Uncle-
every
Uncle
time,
Ben.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like I know the story.
Yeah.
I'm here. You got my money. Please give me a good
Give me something new.
7 minutes.
Yeah,
Don't wanna have to
I'm done with that with most iconic, like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. Everyone knows, it's in our DNA. We know their backstory. Just give us the goods. We want to see him in the suit, kicking ass. If you're Spider-Man, throwing up quips, quips and thwips.
And he's back. He
Yeah.
feels a lot like the I don't know, 67. Was that cartoon series? The cartoon Spider-Man series.
Superman.
Amazing
Spider-Man and
Spider-Man,
Friends. Yeah.
Spider-Man. That feels like they kind of got back to that. A lot of wisecracked and a lot of light humor.
And we actually got a kid.
Yeah.
Like he's actually a teenager.
young, yeah.
Just like I used to read the 1960s Spider-Man. That's what I grew up reading.
Yeah, but
You know?
Aunt May is super hot and it's a little weird.
That's a little off. I'm not gonna lie. That's a little weird. That's
Because you've seen her in The Wrestler.
yeah.
I'm just saying, like, Aunt May, you don't even look like that. And then Marissa Tomei,
Yeah.
just boom, and you're like, okay. Now I got.
But you know what? I think I'm kind of on. The more I watch it, the more I'm on board. And here's why.
No, I am on board.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
It's
You had him at Marissa
Give me all
Tomei.
the Marissa
I've never been more on
Tomei.
board in my life.
Forget Tony Stark.
But I feel like we're really embracing the now. You know, like he's on his social media. Like he's used like this, Peter Parker today wouldn't be walking around with a camera around his neck because that would just be weird. You know, he'd have his smartphone. He'd be taking pictures of that and posting it on Facebook. You know, whatever. And nowadays, like people aren't aging the way they used to. Back in the 1960s, if you were like in your 30s or 40s, you looked like you were 80. But nowadays, if you're in your 40s, you look like you're 20. You know,
But the other weird part
You're
was
in.
Aunt May always looked like she was 80, and she probably
she always looked like she was
80.
dying.
And,
Yeah.
and I'm just wondering, like, what's that family story where you're like 90 years old, lady, and your nephew is like 10? Like,
But
what
I always
happened?
thought it was
Could have been, a big gap between Aunt May and the father.
yeah. Wasn't it always weird though too? Like when you look at the backstory of Spider-Man, his parents looked like they'd be around our ages,
Right.
but his aunt and uncle could have been easily his grandparents.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And it's like
That's
that
what I'm
was
saying.
so like
Yeah.
now it seems like they're correcting that. It's like
Yeah.
let's just make this real. And you know she's up there. She's like in her 40s, 50s herself.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not.
I don't know if
she's-
that's up there, but yeah,
Sorry.
she's
She's
definitely
not-
an age.
She's not 20s.
You guys can't see what's happening
You know?
with my sign language gestures, but anyways, keep going.
Well, everyone can see.
Oh, okay.
Live.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Hey, I'm no spring chicken either, right? I may look good on the outside, but inside, it's all withering away.
Oh wow, that's a conversation for
depressing.
another show, huh?
My goodness.
I'm sorry.
So Phil, what are some things you're anticipating, or not so much?
I like them all. You know, it's interesting because, you know, not that I'm like a big screenplay writer, but you know, I'm a writer and I write comic books and I have to think about this stuff a lot for my own stories, and I try to correct. And I, you know, I make tons of mistakes too. So this isn't to say that, you know, if they gave me the job, it would be better, and it would be. But my point is, you know, as a writer, you start looking at the stories a little differently. So it's hard to. I'm more scared at sequels than I am and well, I watch every sequel, but you know, I'm a little more afraid than I am. Like you know what happened with Fright Night. Fright Night was one of my favorite movies, the original.
Still holds
Yeah,
up.
it's
by
still
the way.
great.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
revisited it.
It's just an amazing little teenage titillating, scary. I mean, it was perfect. It was just a perfect movie. And then, you know, it became somebody's vehicle in movie 2 or in the so and that's and you know when that happens, it's like I just get disillusioned. I'm a little unhappy, and I don't revisit it again. And then when I do,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wow, you know, I shouldn't be punishing the original masterpiece because somebody turned it into a cash cow. But so you know, what am I looking for? I think Amityville was great. I think it still holds up. The Margot Kidder one, the original one. I think anything that's a haunting. That's another thing. It's like there's not a lot of refuting of apparitions and ghosts, and you know maybe if we can find like what ghosts are or what spirits are, and it's all scientifically categorized, we'll look back at these movies and be like, you know. But since we haven't done that, again, it's a frontier of mystery that we don't know. You know, any kind of supernatural type of stuff just really holds up. I think it's scary to me because I believe in ghosts more than I believe in UFOs or Bigfoot. Like I think, you know, I've experienced it. Let me tell you about that story on another podcast, but it's pretty frightening. And there are different types of spirits. Like, you know, if it was a violent death, then you may have a poltergeist, and that one isn't gonna, you know, just knock something off.
It won't just be a moved
Yeah.
chair.
Yeah, it's they're coming after you, and you don't want to be in that house. So anyway, the point is that so Amityville, I hope they do it well. And again, it's one of those things that could be really hokey.
Yeah.
And the other one is, you know, I love Planet of the Apes. I mean, Rod Serling. Yeah, it's a social commentary, right? The Planet of the Apes, and so it's always interesting to see, and I think they did it well. I think it's been well adapted for 20
Oh, definitely, yeah.
the new generation. Spider-Man, of course. I don't know, Leatherface. It's like,
Oh,
yeah, no, the
let's
reason.
not go there. Huh?
Well, yeah, no, the reason I say that is like, it was never a good movie. Leatherface was a shock film, and it was,
So are you officially devaluing the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
yeah,
Whoa.
Yeah.
absolutely.
You hear that, people? That was Phil Kim.
Yeah.
I'm Chris. I was behind the original film.
It's still good.
Hey, this guy.
We like it.
So, but so I mean, I don't care about it. The Saw series, I mean, I think it's I think they're masterful.
All of them?
I
They're
just-
up to number 8 now.
No, I'm saying like
Yeah.
I think they hit the. It's like what Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street did. I'm not a particular fan of it. I think I was too old when that came in, and it's like.
Well, it's interesting you say Leatherface. I'm sure you guys read the story that those rights have floated around for a while.
Mhm.
And then the guys that do Saw,
Mhm.
that company said, we want this property because we're going to do with it what we did with Saw.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, Kim Hinkle and Tobe Hooper had the rights. They sent them back. But as you know, that Leatherface 3D or whatever they called it, I mean, that was like garbage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I don't think you can do that anymore. 8 or 9 movies, that is going to be tough. Although Tom Cruise is up to number 6. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, Leatherface.
No,
I
number
agree.
7, The Mummy.
Well, that's not Mission Impossible. And I
Sure
mean,
it
it's the
is.
same character.
Sure
So
it
you're saying
is.
he changed his name. Oh man,
Sure, yeah.
Ethan Hunt.
Yeah.
That's the story. Didn't you pick it up at the end?
Yeah.
Ethan Hunt
That's
is
who he
the
became.
mummy.
That's who they summoned at the
I'm
end.
buying a ticket right now.
Yeah, right. But Jeepers Creepers, of course, is always kind of fun. But and Annabelle.
Oh, come on.
No, let me just say this.
I thought you said you were super positive about all
Dolls-
films. I'm seeing your true colors come out
Yeah,
now.
no,
Well,
dolls.
That's a spin-off sequel.
Dolls coming to life is
Chucky.
only scary for 1 or 2, and then it just gets silly. It's like zombie movies, and I won't say which one, or zombie TV series, whatever you want to call it. It's a moment in time. That's why 28 Days Later was just an incredibly brilliant film, because you're there and then it's done. When you're on the road for 7 years running from something, you're like, well, there's rigor mortis. Have you ever seen what happens to meat? if you just
7
put it out
years. So that makes me feel like I'm going to go on a limb that you're talking about The Walking
there?
Dead.
No, why would
Okay.
you say that? Anyway,
He's
the
talking
point
about
is,
The Walking
the point is that when you lose a lot of people who are trying very hard to suspend disbelief. That's all I'm saying. It's like you're like, all right, man. And then now you've got like tribal people. It's like in 7 years you're really literally talking different languages. So I mean, I love The Walking Dead.
We still watch every episode.
I do.
We still,
I still do. Like I do.
yeah,
I'm
we
addicted
never
to
miss
it.
an episode.
But it's like when the junkyard people start having like, I'm like,
When she said she wanted to lay with Rick,
well, that's cool.
loved it.
Yeah.
I would pay to see that. In fact, I think there's a pay-per-view movie. If you're out there, make it.
It's called Lay with Rick.
Yeah.
A triple
Again.
I really-
And again.
The Walking Dead, The Humping Dead, whatever it's called. I don't know.
But I'm just saying, like I think there are movies that can, or there are storylines that can go on forever, and then there are storylines that, like when Three's Company went on so long that it became Jack's Bistro. Do you remember that?
I
It's like,
did.
And
I watched it still.
I was going to eat there. I
Yeah,
liked it.
and Ritter's career was just completely over and never came back. It's kind of like that. I think at some point it's like,
Like you said, Annabelle is not a great example of that because here you have the Conjuring 1 and 2 held up. I think I trust James Wan to do Conjuring 3 and 4.
oh, James Wan's great.
He's
yeah,
gonna deliver. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's who's the custodian of the property. And
Right.
these guys, they saw a quick buck, and they tried to turn it, and they made it, and I can't blame them for it. But then at the same time, I won't run out and see it. And I don't even think they screen those
Yeah.
movies. Actually, to be honest with you, that's probably why it's a little suspect. If they don't screen them, that's usually a bad sign.
yeah.
That they want to cash big on the weekend and then have the
Yeah.
critics after the fact.
It's like
say
whatever it is, it is. Whatever.
Yeah.
We got it. All right, Chase. What are your picks for this year? What do you got?
As we turn the beard rub,
As
he's
we
got the
turn
beard
the
rub.
page.
Jeepers Creepers 3. I want to see that. Big one. It.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
yes.
That preview sold me.
Yeah. How excited were we? in this
I
office
was
when
running
that
around
happened.
the office
Yeah.
screaming.
He ran into the office and got me. He's like, George, It trailer, it happened now.
Like I knew the day that it was supposed to be coming. It's like, hey, the It trailer's gonna come out tomorrow, and I was like, I found out what time. I'm like, okay. I'm sitting there at the computer. It's like, okay, 2 more minutes. Here we go.
See, this is what they
Refresh,
do. This is
reload.
what they do at work. They don't do anything.
Well, it
They
is
just
work
wait.
related.
That's true.
We don't want to do this. We have to do
I have
this.
to share it with
you
the
know?
world, and I can't do that if I can't see it myself. So, like, and at the time, like when it was getting ready to like doing the trailers, and I think even before the trailer, I was posting about like the old one and the new one, and there was a lot of people upset about the new one. They're like, "Oh no, it's not the classic. It's not Tim Curry. It's not this and that." I'm like, well, it's one of those things that was really good. It could be better when you redo it, I think, because there's so much more like technology and not necessarily better acting skills, but better acting skills, I think.
And the first one was made for TV too. We got to
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
Right.
This is
They're
this is
gonna-
a big
is
budget
R.
film.
I'm hoping
yeah.
this is R, right?
From what I've seen, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure it is. It's like, so you had it was made for TV, so you have to limit it in that sense. And then it's just like you could get so much bigger of a budget now, so you can do so many more things with it. You can just expand so much, and I feel like they could really, like, I think it was Stephen King that said, like, if you were making like a TV series, it'd be how many seasons or something like that, as opposed to like however long that movie was. And I feel like with the trailers that they're showing, and I think it's gonna be probably a 2-part thing because they're just showing like the kids. So it's probably gonna be the first movie is gonna be probably like a 2-hour long movie of just the kids doing their thing, and then the next movie probably be 2-hour long movie of the adults. I believe that's unless anyone knows otherwise.
No, well, they've been pretty quiet about it.
I
Yeah,
think
I don't know if
something
there's
like
gonna be a
that, which
sequel yet.
I'm like 4 hours of it, I'm in
Yeah.
because I feel like the made for TV one, it was good, but it's just I feel like they can just do a lot more.
You often dress up like a clown, right? And
Tuesdays
Tuesdays, yeah, that's true.
And where's that club at again?
'Cause that makes a big difference.
in the morning, and then when I get here, I switch out and I.
Okay, so he's a clean clown. It's the
Yeah.
evening clown.
Well,
so you
he
don't-
wanted to
Yeah.
know, and what club is that you hang out at?
The Hong Kong, right? The Hong Kong Clowns.
The Hong Kong.
Dinkies?
Dinkies.
The what?
Well, that's an after hours club.
Oh
So
man!
I'm really looking forward to it, and I think
And Tuesdays.
it's just a good.
That's a good call. I bought onto that as soon as I saw the trailer as
Yeah.
well.
Well, and that's like that kind of blows up what I said earlier about the Mummy. It's like you can't have one entity just following you around and scaring the crap out of you, right? So it can't be done.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not necessarily following them around too long. Like it follows them around while they're in that space, and
And
then
it
when
eats
they
'em.
leave, it's like whatever. I'll use someone else. I don't care. And then they come back. It's like, oh, it's time.
Kid's got mustard on his face.
That ran out. You want to put another card in there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just let me throw one
Yeah.
in there.
These is 54 minutes.
55.
We ran over.
Oh, wow.
We're 55 minutes.
It must be over 55.
Wow.
If that ran out.
what's the time there?
Well, the recording on this is 52, but this was running.
Yeah. Oh, near the end anyway. It goes longer when you have more people.
Stop this one, but it's still doing.
And I think we're having actually a good discussion.
Yeah.
I want to see Ragnarok too. Are we on timeout right now?
Yeah. Are you recording?
I'm just putting a new card.
No,
in.
it's-
Audio's still going.
Audio.
You
still
can
Yeah,
cut
but that
that
can be
out.
edited.
Yeah.
I like your clown pants. That's
Jambalaya. Potatoes. Banana peppers. Yeah.
All right, another
What?
55 minutes.
You never heard that song?
Card full of that one?
It's the girl from Jambalaya.
They should put that at the
Oh,
very
this
end
is
of the
getting
show. What we just did.
Probably have to shut it off for 3 minutes.
Oh, so
Back
so
on.
those cannons can't run that long.
They overheat.
Okay, so
There are a
you
lot of
really
problems
do
with
you
that.
really do want to have.
You want
that.
something like this, yeah,
Okay.
because then you won't have any issues. Or
Yeah.
one of the new DSLRs where they figured that out.
I'll turn it off a little bit.
So yes, we're talking about it and all the excitement around clowns.
And there's lots of excitement. Unless you're my wife, Jen, who is our art director. If she sees clowns, fisticuffs rise.
So
That's the
she
thing,
is
too.
not saying it's not.
Oh
Saying
no, I'm
that
watching it
yet?
by myself.
Oh come
Oh
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I was like, "Hey guys, check it out," and I sent them on like Google Hangouts. I sent them the trailer for it, and George's like, "What have you done? She's gonna hurt you." I was like, "Oh crud!"
I thought she was gonna hurt me.
Musical
She
clowns.
sits behind me.
Musical clowns are like literally her kryptonite. Musical
I think it's
clowns
all clowns.
in musicals.
Musicals and clowns. Yeah, don't combine the
Together.
two, and then you
I haven't
you
seen
die.
one of those films in about 5 years, so you'll have to tell me about
Yeah,
those.
you have. Come on, stop it.
I've seen all the dirty ones.
It's made in Japan.
Oh, it is a dirty one.
Yes. Robo Clown
They're
Geisha.
little tiny people.
Gotcha.
Well, I have to say, I don't know if I'm super excited, but I'm very curious towards the Jumanji sequel.
Yeah.
Because it's a sequel, and there's two movies that are coming out that are posing themselves as sequels that feel like they're reboots. And it's Jumanji and also Flatliners. But I'm gonna hit on Jumanji, and it has The Rock, and The Rock has proven
Sold.
he's in the movie you want to see it. Doesn't matter what it is.
He's the other Tom Cruise.
He really is.
A little taller, a little darker, but it's the other Tom
Bigger
Cruise.
The guy, but he has great timing. Like he is on it at all times, and whatever he's in, you're down for it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
He's just a fun guy.
Yeah,
He knows good material, and he knows what I think he has a good finger on the pulse of what'll sell and what he'll excel in.
I'll be honest. I think even if it's not good material, he finds a way to make it good.
Well, I haven't seen Baywatch yet. I'm still
Neither have
excited
I.
to
I'm
see
still
it.
wanna
I heard
see
it
it.
bombed, but I mean, I refuse to believe that he will not elevate that film.
No, the guy's he's amazing, and Jack Black, Kevin Hart's become an unstoppable train himself. He's doing film after film, and he's getting better and better. He's learning.
But he does feel a little more repetitive. He's like
Oh
a Will
yeah,
Ferrell
he's a
guy.
comedian.
He's playing the same
Stand-up
guy.
comics, they have their one notes. Luckily for him, his one note hasn't fallen yet. So I'm
When
personally
they were
still on
together in
board.
Central Intelligence, brilliance.
Yeah, I loved
Unicorns
it.
and rainbows.
Yeah, it was utter corniness, but it was great still.
Yeah.
I loved it. So from what I've understood, it's set in now. It's in present time, and what it is, like we've been seeing a lot of pictures of them. They're actually in a Jumanji video game, and these kids who are almost in a Breakfast Club like situation, just a bunch like a jock and a nerd and all this stuff. They play the video game while they're on like detention or something, and
Does
they get
Jeff Bridges show up? Yes, I just need to know.
from like Tron. He's like, "This is the grid."
Not after the last one.
Or maybe if they couldn't afford Jeff Bridges, perhaps.
Bo Bridges.
Yeah.
As long as we get a bridge of some sort and just pop it in there. But yeah, I'm very interested to see where they go with that, and see how it ties into the beloved Robin Williams one, which, I grew up seeing that, and that was just wonderful. Anything Robin Williams did was gold, and to have him in a movie where he's sucked into this board game and he is our hero and he's trying to fight this jungle of ridiculousness to just tramples through the city was wondrous. And I'm curious if they're going to do that same kind of thing. Will the video game become real life, and will it transfer over? Or are they stuck in the game? It'd be interesting to see how they play with that.
Didn't you think like the night at the museum was like a Jumanji sequel?
Jumanji
Had
with
a
Ben
feel.
Stiller.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I'm watching it. I'm a little confused. Oh, right, it's another movie, different universe. But yeah,
You're waiting to see the board game pop up somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it just falls out of Roosevelt's
Yeah.
horse, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, put that away."
But
I wonder who's making this board game and the video game. It's like, who has a license for Jumanji and is making these? It's like, first you got a board game. Now it's like, we're going to make the video game. How is this happening?
Maybe it's like The Ring.
I think we're going to find out.
A tape just gets made.
A tape is made.
Yeah. But
I think we have to wait to see how that one unfolds.
yeah, I think I'm kind of excited for that. The movie I'm actually really kind of excited for after watching the trailer this past week is Flatliners.
really?
Yeah, I
haven't
heard it was
seen
going to be a reboot at first, but after watching the trailer, apparently it is a sequel. And Kiefer Sutherland is coming back to reprise his role from the first film. So he's going to be a doctor in there and everything. So maybe he's their connection.
They should just bring everybody back. They should bring back.
Bacon won't do it.
What?
Bacon won't do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he will.
No, come on.
Come on.
Look how long it took him to come back with that Footloose thing he did on. Was it Jimmy Fallon or was it the Footloose
Jimmy?
dance he did to celebrate it?
Like Conan or Jay Leno.
Was
But yeah, it was one of those
fantastic. I
Tonight
mean, it took him
shows.
a long time
Yeah.
to even kind of come back to that.
Yeah.
And you don't hear him talking about Friday the 13th either, right?
Hey, was he
true.
on Friday the 13th?
Yeah, yeah.
When?
He was one of the guys who got the arrow through his neck.
He was a dying person.
Oh, this is like early.
The original one, yeah.
Yeah.
The original that started it all.
It's
So,
Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon's in everything at some point in time.
6 degrees, right?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. I think I like the fact that they bring back Kiefer Sutherland, but I'm hoping he's not the guy that's
Maybe
encouraging him.
Maybe they.
Let me
from
show
what
you how I
from
did
what
it.
from what they show, the main character, and damn, I'm drawing a blank on her name again. This keeps on happening to me every time.
Her brother is a cowboy.
Is she the girl from Vampire Diaries?
No.
No, the main actress in Flatliners is the one who played like Kitty Pryde and the X-Men, and she was in Juno.
Oh.
She's a great actress.
She's amazing.
What character did she play in Juno?
She was Juno.
She's Juno.
Oh, Ellen Page.
Ellen Page,
yeah,
thank
yes,
you.
Thank you.
I feel like a fool for like I always every time I always forget her name. I want to say like Natalie Portman. It's like damn, it look like. Why do I always think of Natalie Portman? But she is the driving force in this
You
film.
have to talk to a psychologist.
Why
Yeah.
do you think about
Yeah,
Natalie
exactly.
Portman? And which role
why
do you
shouldn't
think
I,
about her
though?
in?
You know what? I got to tell you something. And it must be Natalie Portman and Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot? I don't
Yeah,
know.
Gal Gadot.
I think I don't want to get her angry.
They
Yeah.
they have a similar look. I mean, their
They're
eyes.
both from the same country.
Yeah,
right?
they're from
And she's
Israel.
Lebanese
They're both
and
Israeli, right?
she's Israeli.
Yeah.
I think they're
Yeah,
actually
they're
both
both
Israeli.
Israeli,
Yeah.
Israelis make like beautiful women. Oh my goodness. Great food too.
Yeah.
With just
So I'd like to
stunning
see
women.
them in a movie together, huh?
Professional meets Wonder Woman.
Yes.
This is yes. Okay. Black Swan meets.
Yeah, there you go. Isn't there some kind of black swan superhero they can throw in there?
I want them to fight together, not against each other.
Well, they always have to start fighting against each other.
I
That's
guess
how they're
so,
gonna make
yeah.
their money.
I'm pretty much
Wonder Woman
I'm,
v Black Swan.
I'm pretty sure there's no fighting in what he's talking about.
Somebody's
they're
reading
fighting
between
over
the
Chris.
lines there, huh?
But no, I gotta say the trailer for this looks like you were saying earlier. Like we have new technology now that we can use, bigger budgets and stuff, and it feels like they're utilizing it in a very good way. You know, the technology that they're showing them, it makes sense. Like when you remember the old Flatliners, there was just like pasties that they're sticking on, and it looked like someone's like put together garage kit that they had for this little device that they were doing.
It's okay. My dad's a chiropractor. These are just laying around the house.
Yeah, while this one's like, all right, you can see like they're funded by like a school, and someone's probably giving them some money to have like some freaking Tony Stark tech to go into the afterlife and everything. And it looks like it's creepy as hell, honestly. Like it looks like this looks kind of like a scary movie.
Well, that's
you know,
good.
and
'Cause
very like cerebral.
if they take it up a little level, then it can be a little more horror oriented. You get the thrills, the suspense,
Yeah.
people on the edge of their seats.
Can I tell you a movie that I absolutely am like horrified to see again? And I love this
Again?
movie. No, Blade Runner 2049.
Oh,
Oh.
gotcha.
See, the beauty of Blade Runner was at the very end, you're like, oh, he's a replicant.
Well, see, but
They
did
still
you?
argue about that.
Yeah, because originally in the original theatrical cut, it was left open.
No, but he was
Yeah.
clearly a replicant from in the Philip K. Dick universe. So he's a replicant.
According to Philip K. Dick, he wasn't though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In his book, he said that he wrote him as a human,
Mm.
and the screenplay writer said that he wrote him as a human too.
Mm.
But
Ridley Scott.
but really Scott
They make
argued
him-
it, and he made his director's cut, and he's
And
like,
Harrison
no, he's a
Ford
replicant.
And-
said he wanted to be a human, right? That's
Yeah.
the big debate. 'Cause
Yeah.
I heard the director sat down with those two guys at dinner.
Well,
and it was
but
very interesting
honestly,
conversation.
I mean, look, I don't care about what anybody says. If Ridley Scott says he's a replicant or a little cowboy or a little horsey, that's what he is.
So you're throwing Ford to the side.
Oh,
huh?
absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Come on,
Indiana
man.
Jones, you knocked the fedora off his hat.
I will say Ridley Scott and Steven Spielberg. Keep going. Keep going.
Well, Spielberg, yeah, you can't.
No,
touch
I'm just saying, like, these are giants. They know how to tell stories, and I'm just saying, like, nobody's else's opinion matters at that point.
Spielberg, I'd be behind. Ridley Scott, I enjoy his work, but
Well, you know, okay, the fact that
So did you
the
see
fact that
Prometheus?
the fact that Charlize Theron's character, as smart as she was, didn't realize she can run left or right
Serpentine.
while the obelisk was falling. I get it, but you know, once in a while. But I'm just saying, they're brilliant people, and they know how to tell
Absolutely.
stories.
No, no denying that
So
for
he's a
sure.
replicant. So, but
maybe you'll get your answer. in this movie.
clearly, Gosling's character is a replicant.
Oh, I definitely feel he is.
Yeah.
The trailer, I feel like it's pretty much just yelling at you that he is a replicant.
Yeah.
Like there's no
Maybe
denying
Here's
it.
the thing, though. Did they ever release stuff like that and want you to know that?
This is the thing. Is
They're misleading. They're
I-
misleading.
Here's the thing: is I think those type of kind of like the Richard Matheson-esque storytelling Easter egg gotchas, I think they're gone. I mean, I think they almost got to kind of tell you what you're buying.
I hope not. I mean,
I-
at least in TV, they don't.
I don't
they
like it
follow
when that happens,
No,
but it
but
feels
I'm
like trailers nowadays. They give you the whole story now, and
No,
you don't
but
get
what
a
I'm saying
chance.
is like that gotcha thing. It's like, look, you got you Matheson, Serling. I mean, where do you go from there? It's done.
Well, I would
The
just say,
gotchas
I
are
would
gone.
hope to say in the case of that movie, I mean, Ridley Scott, look at Alien, how much secrecy was enshrouded in the Covenant before that came out, and even Prometheus. I'd like to think, although, is he producing it or is just executive producing it? Anyway, I'm assuming that there are probably some stringent guidelines there where they don't want to give too much away or spoil. I mean, this is a long time we've been waiting for this movie, and Ford's back in it. So if they tip off too much,
Well, he's gonna apparently his son's gonna kill him in this one too. So
I hope no.
Damn.
Kylo Ren is back.
You gotta stop making kids.
this guy with a weird.
At that point, you have to wonder.
sword.
Maybe it's him. If every kid starts killing him.
No, that's right. You got to go behind the scenes. Why do they hate you so much,
He's
Harrison?
like, "Is your mother here? Is Sean Young here? I'm hiding. Oh no!"
And that's why Gosling's there.
There you
He's
go.
there to
He's the
take care of
baby.
business. Yeah.
It's possible. We'll go the Shia LaBeouf route, huh?
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
Well, he died in the
Shia LaBeouf?
long run.
Shia LaBeouf did in the series?
Oh, I'm talking about careers.
Oh, because he's back.
No, I think he's dead. I think what you see. I think what you see is the mummy.
Yeah.
The
Why
mummy
did they get him to
sequel.
play the mummy? There you go.
You saw the bag on his head and everything.
I did see that. He's not a star anymore.
Yeah.
And then I heard he got arrested for walking on stage or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they were paying him to do it, but they arrested him anyway.
He'll be back, maybe.
Boy, that's tough.
He's not Arnold.
Hopefully. Is Arnold going to be the new Predator? Does anybody know? They say he's not, but I'm hoping that's just a lie.
Yeah, I was just hearing.
I know.
he's
There's
not,
always like hints and talks about him coming back. But
Well, Elpedia's not coming back. I know that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
she seemed very disillusioned with the movie when she got cast
Yeah.
for it. So that's not a surprise, even though it's got her a lot of fame. But Schwarzenegger, Dutch, we don't know what happened to him. They got to answer those questions. Last we
Yeah.
saw him was on a desolate, destructed field in the jungle, right?
it would be nice to see him come back and
You know,
take some Predator tail.
You know what would be fantastic if you see Jesse Ventura doing his conspiracy theory, and that's the opening. He's like, "There are aliens."
Before he died.
Yeah.
Well, that was never proven, right?
Yeah, I got it.
He wasn't ripped in half, right?
No, no.
That was one of the other guys.
Duke, Bill Duke,
Yeah.
and Sonny.
Well, there's a lot of exciting things out there. So, yes, definitely it's going to be an interesting summer. So I
Yeah.
hope that there's some light at the end of the tunnel. You know, we're going to get some hits. You know, we're going to get some bombs. You know, it's just a matter of...
It's a great time, I think, to be an audience because it's like they're all fighting to give you $200 million. Like, you know, there are people starving and losing their homes, and you know, Hollywood gives us these $200 million movies, and I love it.
Well, you know, it's a great balance. It is.
We are
It's
being
summertime.
spoiled now.
It's
Yes.
fun, yeah.
Yeah.
They give you what you want. They give
Yeah.
you all the drinks that you want, and then come Oscar time,
Yeah.
you know, they say it's time for you to probably drink some water and eat some food here, kind of sober you up. But yeah, it's a good ride, so you got to get on board.
Yeah.
For all
We're,
that.
we're definitely. It's not just the era of reboots and redos, but it's also the era of blockbusters, and we're being drowned in it, and possibly a
Drowned
great, in
is
a
so
great
negative.
way. No, I mean in a
How
good
about
way.
drizzled, sprinkled?
Well,
that's not
and then
enough.
once in a
I wanna be
while,
drenched.
once in a
Okay,
while
drenched.
they once in a while they throw in like some silly rom-com that costs them like 87 cents, and it's being billed with, you know, Thor and Iron Man and Star Wars, and I'm like, who thought that was a good idea? Like, I don't...
It's counter programming, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that hate those movies. They're looking for something else. Or
That's
those
true.
date nights, those first date nights. You're not going to take anybody to Thor.
Oh yeah, you are.
First
It's
date.
I'm
good.
taking my wife to Thor.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but that's not your first date night. What was the first movie you took your wife to?
dude. What?
Man, it was definitely like something like that, like Star Wars or something like that.
I'm waiting for Chris Bollini to be like,
I think it was the proposal.
What's the date?
for me?
what year is it?
Times have changed.
Yeah. My wife
Thanks for pulling up that
despises
rock.
romance films, so that's why I have to. Bring
Well,
her
she's
to,
not
like,
going to
this.
see it with you.
Yeah. Oh no.
So if she sees
no.
it with you,
Unless I
then we
want
got
a divorce, then I
conversation.
bring her to see it. Then yeah.
I'll see it with you.
Why don't we see
Thanks.
it in La La Land? It's
Just commit suicide. That's what that is.
Wow. You could mix genres. You were talking about crossovers.
Oh no, I'm all for it, but she doesn't like musicals or clowns.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. See, now,
So,
now
yeah,
we're peeling away the layers.
like
of
just
the
so,
onion here.
she's running the cameras right now, so she's probably giving me dagger eyes, just so you guys know.
She is
Right.
shaking her head no. Everything's going to be okay when this is done.
As the axe
but when we go
rises.
home,
That's, I can't say.
I may never come back from under the covers.
I
Well-
don't even know what that means. Let's go.
But on that note, that's another show. As always, I'm George, and you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Nicolapolis. With me is our fearless leader, Philip Kim.
That's me.
Can we follow you anywhere, or should we
No.
leave you alone
No,
in your
That's right.
darkness?
That's right. You can follow
Follow
me
him
on,
home.
You can follow me.
I am.
You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. That's about it.
Yeah, I have no handles.
Yeah.
I don't do that stuff.
Handles.
Yeah.
No.
What year is it?
There you go.
Who am I?
That's called the setup, everybody. If you don't understand that, I set that joke up. I walked into it. That's the kind of guy I am. I'm sacrificing my humility.
You should have been in the Mummy with all the
Oh,
sacrifice.
yeah. I'd work with
Chase
Cruz.
hasn't said much, but man, he came in with a zinger there.
Wow, I'm getting like hit 3 ways
I
here.
know.
You know
I'm
what?
not going to come out from
Before I die, I would like to either be in or direct a movie or write something for Tom Cruise.
do it.
Maybe when he's
You heard that?
maybe when
We
he's
want
like
you, Tom.
105 years old, and it's like, him and
Russell Crowe.
No, yeah, Russell Crowe.
It was
And-
fun. Keanu Reeves and Leonardo DiCaprio, put them all in there.
Yeah, and then Taxi Driver.
De Niro?
De Niro.
De Niro?
Because, it's-
Pacino, Pesci? Yeah, that's what you got to
And The
get.
Odd
Pacino,
Couple.
Pesci, and De Niro.
and the Odd
Well,
Couple.
they have that movie coming out, The Irishman, on Netflix.
All three of them?
Directed by Scorsese.
Is that the one based on the you're talking about
It's-
doing a book?
Yeah, it's I don't know if it's off a book or a true story, but yeah, it's going to be a movie directed by Scorsese with De Niro
When's
and
it
Al
coming
Pacino
out?
again.
When's it coming out? Don't talk about rumors and speculation.
Oh no, it's being filmed right now.
It's called The
Yeah,
Uber
yeah.
Driver.
I've seen that.
called,
movie.
They're getting wooed
is
by
he
Lyft.
doing like a selfie video where he's like,
I tell you what, if
"You
Lyft
talking to
wants
me?"
to throw money my way, I'll make the Lyft driver. I'll make the Uber driver. I'll make the back seat driver. I don't care. Write me a check.
It's where the Uber and the Lyft driver
Fall in love.
That's right.
There's your rom-com for 87 cents.
There you go.
You know what? All your casting would just be on an app.
There you go. That's it.
Boom, done.
An IMDb search.
Well, we obviously don't want to leave you, but
You gotta go.
we also have Chase, our media coordinator.
Hi.
Bye,
Hey,
Chase.
bye. Follow Famous Monsters. Just Famous Monsters, all one word, for Twitter and Instagram. And then just Famous Monsters of Filmland on Facebook or FMOF. There you have it.
Catch us on Audio Boom, iTunes, and YouTube.
I want to thank Chris Bollini.
Well, thank you for the seat at the table.
Yep.
It's always here for you.
Forever. I appreciate that.
What year is it? Okay.
And cut.
Oh.